deficits are also good. That's the way everybody thinks. But the number that came out later in the day that nobody seemed to pay attention to was consumer credit. And consumer credit actually declined. They were looking for 15 billion growth, and it only grew by 11.6 billion. And that was the slowest rate of growth since November of 2013, which to me, it's a good thing that consumers are taking on less debt. But the reason they're doing it is because the economy is so weak and they're so broke. I mean, if we really had a strong economy that was creating these new jobs, the way Americans typically respond is they go out and buy stuff on a credit card because now they have a job and so they figure they can afford it. The fact that consumer credit growth is slowing should be very problematic for people who are looking for the U.S. consumer to power GDP growth. And in fact, credit card debt actually fell. I mean, that's very rare, but credit card debt actually fell. And again, what that shows, we have this rising savings rate, and now we have a reduction in credit card debt. A lot of that is because of lower gas prices. Instead of spending this supposed windfall from lower gas prices, Americans are saving the difference, or they are not using their credit card as much. See, if people were so broke and they have to put gas on their credit card, well, now if gas is cheaper, they don't have to put as big a bill on the credit card. So it shows that Americans are simply borrowing less money to buy their gas because the gas is less expensive, right? So there is no big windfall. But again, if consumers are flush with these new jobs, why aren't they spending the extra money? It's because it isn't extra money. It's just less money they have to borrow because they're barely making it. And of course, the total level of debt continues to rise, albeit at a slower pace, mainly because of car loans and student loans. But again, this is a bad sign that Americans keep on taking on student debt. You know, they're doing that despite the fact that most college grads are underemployed. You know, they're waiting tables and tending bar, or whatever they're doing. Yet now people are borrowing money. In fact, I think a lot of people are just not even really in college for the education. They're in there for the loans. They just have to enroll in order to borrow the money. But the money is really going to their utilities and their rent and things like that. And then we have all this money that's being borrowed in car loans, even as delinquencies are soaring because we've got so many subprime auto buyers that are taking out, 7-year car loans. Imagine 7 years worth of payments on a car that, how many people drive cars for 7 years that actually drive them? And a lot of people, of course, are using 0% financing, and when they buy the car, they're driving into the showroom with a car that maybe they have a $10,000